What's up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be adding a backend to our travel blog website. First, we'll be adding authentication with NextAuth. Let's go ahead and log in. And we're going to log in with Google. Once we're signed in, we get access to the user menu. And here we can create a post. We can go to the user dashboard to see the post that we created. And we can also sign out. So let's go ahead and create post. And we got the option to drag and drop our image. So I'm going to go ahead and drag an image over. And for the title, I'm just going to put test. And we can write test in here as well. And we can choose our category we want it to be in. I'm going to put it in adventure and click on create. So once we submit, we can head over to my post. And here we can see that all the posts that we created, it shows that we have one post created. Everything is getting tracked inside of our MongoDB database. And we'll be using Prisma and EdgeStore to store all of our images. And now we can delete this post if we want. And it's asking for confirmation. So I'm gonna click on yes. And if we head over to the post page, we also add a filter to filter out through all of our posts. And let's head back to home page. Now our home page, our hero section, our latest post and top post is now getting fetched from our MongoDB database as well. So let's go ahead and get started on this project. All right, so before we install NextAuth, let's go ahead and we're gonna fix up our folders a little bit. So instead of having this site in parentheses, we're actually going to drag everything out. So let's go ahead and just copy each one. And we're gonna drag it just inside of our app like this. And we're gonna get rid of this site. We're still going to keep the auth, but we're just going to keep, we're just going to get rid of site. All right. So now let's go ahead over to NextAuth, and you want to click on get started, and don't install this yet. You want to head over to providers, and then actually you want to head over to adapters, and then we're going to do Prisma. So now we're going to copy this and copy that, get over to our terminal, and we're going to paste it in there. So this is installing Prisma, Prisma client, and also the Prisma adapter as well. So give that a second to load. Let's go ahead and scroll down. So here it's telling us to make a API/auth /nextauth.js. So this is what we're going to do. But before we do that, actually, I think we do have to go ahead and install NextAuth. So go ahead over back to auth, and then run install NextAuth. Let's go back. We're going to install this. All that as well. So npm install NextAuth. All right. And let's head back over to our adapters and Prisma. Open that back up, close out of these. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and make this API route. We'll head over to our app. We're gonna make it inside of our auth folder. So we're gonna have a folder in here, and it's be called API. And it's telling us to do auth inside of this API folder. So we're going to do another folder in here. It's going to be called auth. And inside of this auth folder, we're going to do a spread operator and then have NextAuth. I have another folder. I'm going to do brackets .. NextAuth. Right? And then inside of this folder, we're going to have our route. Let's make sure. Let me just drag this over some. Make sure it's checked, and then let's do a route.ts. Cool. All right, so now we can go ahead and copy over this code here. I'm going to switch it up just a bit here in a second. Let me zoom out some, zoomed in just a little bit. So as you can see, we're getting some errors here, and this is just TypeScript. We're going to fix all these here in a second. But before we do that, we're going to make a folder inside of our root. And it's going to be called lib. So inside here, I make another folder. I'm gonna call it lib. Right. and then we're gonna do a file name. It's gonna be called Prisma DB. Sorry, I'm gonna do Prisma DB, so database Prisma DB.ts. All right, and the reason why we're doing this is because if we keep calling Prisma like they do it inside of this example, we're gonna get a error that's saying that we're calling Prisma too many times. So to prevent that from happening, we're going to do this. We're gonna do an import Prisma client. That's gonna be coming from Prisma client, and all we gotta do is a declare global brackets new var Prisma. Go to Prisma client or undefined. All right, and down here we're going to do a cons client is equal to global this dot Prisma new Prisma client, like that. And this is all inside of the docs. We could have probably just copied over and pasted it, but we're gonna do if process dot env dot node underscore env is not equal to production global this dot Prisma is equal to client. All right, and all we're gonna do now is just export default client. So we're gonna do export default client. All right, cool. So that's our Prisma file. So we shouldn't have to open this up the rest of this project. So now here inside of our API route, so we can switch this up a bit. Instead of us calling Prisma like that, we're going to just go ahead and import Prisma from our lib. So let's go ahead and under this, we're going to, so we can actually remove Prisma client now. We're not going to need it. So we're just going to go ahead and import Prisma from @lib /prismadb. And now we can get rid of this. And we're getting some errors for TypeScript. So instead of export default NextAuth, we're going to export cons. I'm going to change this up just a bit. We're going to export cons auth options. And that's going to equal auth options. We didn't install this yet. So up here, we're importing NextAuth. We're actually going to do a comma. We also want to import auth options as well. All right, and since we're doing a cons, we got to make sure we add this equal here. So do equal and that. Okay, and so we got 2 TypeScript errors here. To get rid of these, only thing we have to do is do as string for our Google client secret, and we're also going to do an as string for this as well. All right, and if we want, we can add GitHub provider as well, but we're not going to add GitHub. We're just going to do Google. I'm going to have the buttons for GitHub and Facebook, but they're not going to be working buttons. They're just going to be for show. We're just going to add Google in this project. So underneath here, we're going to have, so underneath this array right here, I have a debug, and we do a process .env .node underscore env triple equal to development. All right, and since we did that, we got to make sure we add a comma because we're going to add something else. We have a secret, and this is going to be process .env .NextAuth secret. Next, we didn't create this yet. NextAuth underscore secret. All right. So that's that. And then underneath here, we're gonna do a cons handler. And that's going to equal to NextAuth and then auth options. Dude, this new keyboard I really don't like. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna do another export. We're gonna export handler as get, and then also handler as post. Like that. All right, so that is our API route for NextAuth. We might have to come back in here, not sure yet, but that's it for now. So now it's time to actually do our Prisma schema. And to do that, what we're going to do is let's head back over to his file here. And let's see if it generated us a Prisma folder. So it didn't generate us a Prisma folder. All right, so we're just going to create our own Prisma schema folder. There's a command that you can use to just generate one, but I kind of forgot it. So head over to your root, and we're going to do Prisma. And then in here, we're going to have a schema.prisma. So schema.prisma. All right. So now we're going to copy over this schema here that they have for us, and we're just going to change it up just a bit. So we're not using the shadow DOM or shadow database, so we can actually get rid of this. All of that. So we're using MongoDB. We're not using SQL, so we're gonna get errors because with MongoDB, if you're doing the ID tag, you have to do @map parentheses, you can do quotes, and you gotta do actually you gotta do underscore ID like that, and that'll get rid of that error. So for each ID tag, we have to do that. Trying to open up the schema on my other monitor. All right, so our .env file is kind of our database URL. We don't got this yet. So generate client. We can actually get rid of this line here. There's preview features. Going to get rid of that. I should keep that. So model account, we're gonna keep all this the same. We just have to do that @map thing we did down here because we're using MongoDB. Just going to copy that and paste it here. DB text. So instead of when you're using MongoDB, instead of DB text, we got to do DB string. So DB string. I'm gonna change this to DB string, and then also DB string like that. All right. So change this to @map. Down here for the verification token, is airing out the whole thing. To fix that, with MongoDB, each model has to have an ID. So we're going to copy this up here. I'm going to make it have an ID like that, and that should get rid of that error. And we're going to add our own model in. So that's for our account. So that's for us logging in and out. We want to keep all of this. I've seen some people, they don't keep all of this. I mean, I keep it all. I mean, why not? We'll do model blog. And in here, we're going to have an ID. So it's going to copy over this ID. Paste it here. And then we also have created at. And that's going to be a date, time, and at default it's going to be now. Right? And then we're also going to have a title, and that's going to be a string. We're also going to have a description. I'm going to do DESC. That's going to be a string. I have an image. That's going to be a string. But we're going to do a question mark because it might not be a string. do category, and that's going to be a string. I'll do a user email, and that's going to be a string. And we're also going to feature it. That's going to be Boolean. But we also have a default for that, and a default is going to be false. All right, and then also top post. That's going to be a Boolean as well, and also same thing, default, and it's going to be false. And then last but not least, we're going to tie this blog into our user, so that way we can grab a specific user blog posts, and we can also, you know, show the users their own blog posts. So to do that, we're going to do user. It's going to be user. We want to add a relation, and we got to add the fields in here. So fields is going to be, you can do either user email, you can do user ID, user name. We're going to do user email, and then we also need a reference. So we're going to do comma references, and that's just going to be email. All right, we are getting an error here. Oh, I just had to save. All right, so that is our schema. Before we do a Prisma generate, because that's what we're gonna have to run, we're actually going to make our MongoDB database. So let's head over to MongoDB Atlas. And you want to create an account. All right, so after you create an account, you want to go ahead and click on new project. I'm just going to go ahead and create another one. And for the project name, I'm just going to name it Explore. You can name it whatever you want. For the project owner, you get yourself, create project. All right, and now once your project is created, you want to head over to database, head down to built database, and we're going to be using free. Everything else can stay the same, your region, cluster, everything by default. You can change the name of cluster if you want. I'm just going to keep mine that. And then create. All right, so here's the important part. For your username, I just want to create your username. Just name mine Antonio. And you obviously don't want this password because we're going to need this password. But I mean, if you want to save this, you can. I'm just going to use an easier password for this practice project. Do admin like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and click on create user, and we'll be using my local environment. All right, so for the IP address, we're gonna do 0.0.0.0, and we're gonna go ahead and add entry, and click on finish and close, and then go to overview. And then now we're gonna go ahead and click on connect, click on drivers. We don't need to install MongoDB because we're using Prisma. So we're gonna copy over this code here, and we can close out of this. Still keep your MongoDB Atlas open. We can actually close out of NextAuth as well. And then head over back to your project, and we're gonna make a .env file inside of the root. We're gonna do .env, and then here is where our database, your underscore URL is going to go. All right. And instead of password here, we actually got to put in our password. So my password was admin. And you also want to put something right after this this slash here. So .net slash and then question mark. So right in between this slash and question mark, we're going to just put blog like that. Let's go ahead and save that. All right. And I already got my server started. I'm actually going to close my server, and I'm going to do a npx prisma generate. All right, cool. And now I'm going to go ahead and start my server and head back over. Let's go to localhost 3000. All right, so we're on our site. So once you get over to localhost 3000, you want to we're going to go to localhost 3000/API/auth/sign-in. So we're hitting this route right here that we made. And if we go there, we should see a Google sign-in button. But we're going to make our own sign-in form. but for now we're going to be using this one just so we can get our database, Prisma, and NextAuth all connected. So once you click on this, as you can see, we're getting an error. That's because we don't have our Google credentials for us to sign in with Google right now. All right, so head over to Google and we're going to type in Google Dev Console and make sure you sign in with your Google account. And I'm just going to create another one actually. So you want to click on create project, and once you click on this, it's just going to put in your project name. You don't need to do any organization. I already made one here just now. So once you go to it, you just want to click on, so it's going to appear under your notifications. You're just going to click on select project. So I'm going to select project, and now I'm going to go under API and services. And make sure you click on credentials. All right, and under credentials, we're going to go to create credentials. I'm going to create an OAuth client ID, and before we do that, we got to configure our consent screen, and make sure you do external. For the app name, it's going to name it Explore X. Support email, just be the email you created your Google account with. For our home page, I'm just going to do localhost 3000. Privacy policy, I'm going to do privacy policy /pp. Terms of services, I'm going to do localhost 3000 /TOF. For authorized domains, I don't think we have to do that. And then for our email address, just going to put the email that we created our Google account with. All right, and click on save and continue. We don't need to add or remove scope, so we can save and continue. We don't need to add any users, save and continue. All right, and our all screen. So now we can click on back to dashboard, and we click on publish app and confirm. Okay, and now we're going to go into credentials again. And now once we click on create credentials, OAuth client ID, now we're presented with this screen. So application type is going to be web application. We got a web client. Our authorized JavaScript origins is going to be just localhost 3000. And this one is super important. So everything I just did, you could have just put anything, but this one is really important. For the authorized redirect URLs, we're going to do localhost 3000 /API /auth /callback /Google, like that, and click on add. Oh, you don't have to click that. And now click on create. So it's going to give it a second to create, and now we got access to our client ID and your client secret, and it's enabled. So head over to your .env file. Let's go ahead and copy the client ID first. All right, so right underneath this database, we're going to do Google _ client _ ID. And this was not going to be in quotes. So we're going to do that. And now we need our Google client secret. So Google _ client _ secret. And that's going to be the secret key here. I'm going to copy that and paste that. And let's give that a quick save. And let's see if this is working. So now let's go ahead and refresh our server. Let's go back to localhost 3000 /API /auth /signin. All right. So now once we click on this, now we have Google sign in. So let's go ahead and click on, let's try to sign in with our Google account. And let's give it a second. And now we're signed in because it took us back to home. But let's make sure that everything's getting checked inside of our database. So head back over to your MongoDB, click on database, click on browse collections, and perfect. We got our account. So we got one account and the ID is this weird ID. We got a user ID, type is OAuth, provider is Google. We got provider account, just a bunch of this security stuff, access token. We got our session, but the most important part is our user, because we're going to be using this user. So our user, each user has a own unique ID. You got a name, we got our email address, and we also got our image from Google that we're going to be using as well. So yeah, that's perfect. So now instead of using this sign up form from NextAuth, we're actually going to create our own sign up form. So let's go ahead and do that. Start that process now. All right, so before we start our authentication form, let's go ahead and sign out. So we're going to, we don't have a sign out button right now. We're just going to do a localhost 3000 / API / auth / sign out. All right, and now we got the sign out. So now we're currently signed out. Perfect. Okay, so under auth, inside of the auth folder, we're going to create another folder. So make sure you're clicked on auth. And this folder is going to be called access. All right, and then inside of this access, we're going to have a page.tsx. Okay, so now under our localhost 3000, we can go to /access. Actually, we probably get a 404 because we didn't export it. I'm gonna export it. Click on save. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is going to be a client component. We're going to use client, and we're going to do some imports. We're going to import use state from React. We're also going to import use effect as well. We're also going to import sign in from NextAuth /React, and also use session. Well, I'm going to import use router. So there's two of them. You want to make sure you're using Next navigation. And then we also going to import image from Next.js, and also link from Next.js. Perfect. All right. I'm gonna change this to we got our page. Perfect. All right, so under here we're going to do a con session, and that's going to equal use session. Then we're also going to do a cons router, and that's going to equal use router. And we have access to these. We're also going to set some state as well. We're going to do cons is loading, and then set is loading, and the default is going to be false. Use state false. All right, cool. So first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to do a use effect, and we're just going to check to see if the status is already authenticated. If it is, we're going to do a router.push, and we're going to push home, because we don't want, I mean, if you're already authenticated, we don't want you on this page. So we're going to do a use effect. And we're going to do if our session dot status equals to authenticated. We can console.log authenticated. I probably spelled that wrong. And then we also want to do a router.push, and we're going to push home page like that. All right, and we do need our dependency array. We're just going to be looking out for changes on our session.status and also our router as well. We're getting an error because session, we're going to do a question mark because it's optional. We're also going to do a question mark there as well. Oh, all right, my apologies. We got to put this inside. We got to make our dependency array. All right, and let's go ahead and save, and let's see if this error goes away. So we're getting another error. Use session must be wrapped in session provider. Okay, so we have to wrap our whole application up with this session provider. But if we just import, let's head over to our layout. So we just import session provider directly in here and wrap our application up, it's going to cause some problems. So to do that, the correct way to do it is inside of our root, we're going to make another folder, and this will be called contacts. All right, and inside of this context, we're going to have a file. It's going to be called auth contacts .ts. You could do tsx, right? And inside of this auth context, we're going to make this a use client, and then we're going to import session provider from NextAuth and React, and then we're going to export interface auth contacts props. In here, we're just gonna define the types. So the children, it's going to be a React node. All right, and then now we're gonna do a export default function. It's gonna be auth contacts, and in here have our children for the props. Go ahead and comma that. Actually, we don't need a comma there. And let's go ahead and add this interface to these props. And do auth contact props. And let's go ahead and do our return statement. And return, all we're gonna do is return session provider. And inside it's gonna be our children. All right, and that is it. So let's go ahead and close out of that, and then head back over to our layout, and let's go ahead and import it here from context. And now let's wrap our whole application up with this auth contacts. Nice. All right, and let's see if this error goes away now. Perfect. All right, nice. So the error went away. So let's head back over to auth access page, and let's go ahead and finish this out. So underneath this use effect, so this use effect is basically we're checking to see if we're already authenticated. If we are, we're going to console log authenticated, and then we're going to do a router.push, and it's going to push us back to home if we're already authenticated. So now let's go ahead and we're going to do cons social action, and we're going to take in an action, which is going to be a string. And first thing we're going to do is set is loading to true. All right, and then we're going to take the sign in that we got from NextAuth / React. So sign in, take an action, and also we don't want it to redirect, so we're going to do redirect false. All right, and then after that we're going to do a dot then, do a callback. So if our callback dot error, all we want to do is return. And the reason why we're erroring out, because I'm just going to do a question mark there. And then down here, if our callback is okay, dot okay, we want to just router dot push home. Right, so basically this is basically saying if our sign in is okay, we're going to push home, and if it's not, we're just going to return. All right, So callback okay, and then we're also going to need a finally. So we're going to do that finally. All we're going to do is we're going to set load into false. All right, perfect. All right, nice. Now let's go ahead and write some JSX. So underneath here, first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a div. And it's going to have a class name of my24. On small screens and up, we have an mx of auto. Small screens and up, we have a max width of 4XL, and then also a px5. All right, let's take a quick look. Perfect. And now we're gonna do a div inside here, and this is gonna have a class name of bg white shadow. Small screens and up, it's gonna have a rounded LG. Display flex, gap of 5, justify between, a height of 96, and then overflow hidden. Take a look. Should see, now it's nice and white there. All right, and then in here, we have another div. And it's gonna have a class name of margin top 6, flex, gap of 2, a flex cowl, justify center, item center, and then an mx of auto as well. All right, and now we can start writing our content inside here. So we're gonna have a link. And this link is going to have an href, and it's going to basically just send us home if we click on it. And it's also going to have a class name of just margin bottom 5. And inside of this link, we have an h1. This is just going to be our logo. So we're going to have a class of text 3XL, a font of extra bold, and then a text secondary. All right. And have Explorer. And then right under this Explorer, we want to span. Sorry, hold on. Right under this Explorer, we're gonna have a span, and it's gonna have the letter X. And for this letter X, we're just gonna have a text of primary. I'm gonna save that. Nice, perfect. All right. H1. All right, so we got our link. So right underneath this link, we have a span, and this is just going to have a class name of text small. And in here, it's going to say login or sign up with the links below. All right, good look, perfect. Alright, so underneath this span, this is where we're going to have our Google login button, our Facebook login button, and our GitHub login button. But we actually use a package for this, and it's called React Social Login Button. So let's go ahead and install this package now. I'm going to close the server. So I'm going to do an npm I react-social-login-buttons. Give that a second to load. And now, if we did it correctly, go up here, and now we can go ahead and import Facebook login button. And we can do a comma. We can do GitHub login button, comma, and then we also gonna do a Google login button. All right, I'm gonna save that. All right, so down here, right underneath this span, is where we're gonna have our first one, and the only one that's gonna work. It's so easy to add GitHub. I'm sure you guys can watch like a video on it. It's really easy. Facebook is the one that's really kind of complicated. I did it in one of my projects, and it takes the longest, in my opinion, to get Facebook running. All right, so we got Google login button. Let's take a look. Oh, we gotta start our server back. PM run dev. So we got our button there. All right, and we're actually going to have an on click on this button, and the on click is going to be just going to return our social action Google, like that. All right, now let's go ahead and put our rest of them here. So we're gonna do Facebook login button, and then GitHub login button. Perfect. Take a look. I don't know why my computer's going so slow. Let's refresh. All right, perfect. They're all there. All right, and we want to add a little image on the side. So make sure you guys download this image from the GitHub. But before we do that, let's actually test this out. Make sure this is working. So once we click on this, hopefully it takes us to Google. Sign in. It doesn't. Oh, okay. So it signed us in because we already have an account. So let's actually remove this inside of our database just to make sure this is working. So remove the account, remove the user, delete, and we can also remove the session as well. All right, so now let's go back to /access and let's see if this is working now. Click. Okay, so sound is right back in. I wonder if it saved our, let's see if it shows the account now. Okay, so see, it shows the account back. So what it did, we just got to clear our cache, I believe. Let's see. Let's remove this. I'm gonna remove everything again. Remove, and then we're gonna remove this. All right, so we removed everything. Let's go ahead and click on inspect, and then head over to application, and then we're gonna go under, I believe it's local storage, and then here, yeah, I don't think it's that. Hold on. Okay. So let's remove this NextAuth message. Let's remove this alley support, cart store and stuff. That's all from my e-commerce site. It's crazy that's still there. And we can also remove this clerk. That's from my e-commerce site as well. All right. So now let's go ahead and try it now. Go access. Make sure we don't get routed back to home. So that means we're not currently logged in if it doesn't push us back to home. Click on login with GitHub. Okay, so it signed us right back in. I wonder why it's doing that. All right, well, we know it's working because now we got our account back and our user. All right, so what I'm thinking is maybe since I only have one Google account on this browser, it's just automatically signing me in. So I mean, it's working. Let's go ahead and log out. So let's make sure this is working. So head back over to access, and now you can see we routed back to home because we're already signed in. So let's go ahead and sign out. So go to API auth/sign out. That way we can finish styling up this page. All right, so let's go ahead and add our image back. All right, so once you download the image, it should be this one here, just access JPG. So go ahead and download that and head back over to the component. And now right underneath this div here, we're gonna have an image tag from Next.js. And the source is going to be /assets/access.jpg. The height is going to be 500. The width is going to be 500. And the alt is going to be We can do sign up form image, and then class name, we're gonna do object cover, and then on large screens we want it to actually be hidden. Actually we want it to be a block, sorry, and then hidden on smaller screens. All right, let's take a look, and perfect. And we got our image there, and that is our sign up form. All right, so let's go ahead and log back in. Should take us right to home because we're logged in now. And now let's go ahead and start with our Navbar. But before we do that, we're actually going to create 2 actions to retrieve the users, the current user, and we're also going to create another action as well to retrieve the session of that user. So inside of the root, actually inside of app, we're going to create a folder. Click on app, create a folder in here, and this one's going to be called actions. All right, let me just open it up on my other monitor. And the first one we're going to do is get current user.ts, and we're going to create another one. Let's do get sessions.ts, and since we're here, we might as well make the third one, but we're not going to use it yet. This was going to be blog actions.ts. All right, so let's start with the get sessions one actually, because we're going to need the get sessions inside of our get current user one. So this one's pretty small. I'm going to do an import get server session. That's coming from NextAuth. And then we also going to import auth options. So be careful here. So there's 2 auth options. You want to make sure you choose the one with the lowercase a, not the one with the uppercase a. And that's going to be coming from our API route that we made for NextAuth. And then we're going to do an export default async function. It's going to be get session, not get server session. I'm going to do get session like that. And we're gonna do return await get server session, and that's gonna take in our auth options like that. All right, so that's it for our get session one. So let's go and close out of that. Let's go ahead and do get current user, and this basically just gonna grab our current user so that way we can send over the data to our navbar and all of our other components. So for this one, we're gonna do import. I'm gonna get server session. That's coming from NextAuth. And then we're also going to import our auth options as well. And then we also need Prisma. And that's going to be coming from our lib folder. Don't tell me this isn't working right now. Prisma DB. Oh, I forgot the from. That's why. I was wondering why that sometimes that thing is a little bit buggy for me. The import alias. So we're going to export async function get session. So I thought we would use that the get session one in here, but I don't think we did. I think we used it in another one. I'm gonna return await get server session auth options. All right, perfect. And then down here, I'm gonna export default async and this is going to be get current user. And we do a try catch. So we're gonna do try, and in this try we're gonna do a const session. That's going to equal await get session. All right. Then underneath here, so if session dot user dot email, we're just going to return null. All right, and I'm getting some errors here. There's got to be a question mark, and I spelled email wrong. All right, so we're just gonna return null, and now we're gonna make our current user. So const current user, it's gonna equal await Prisma.user.find unique. So once you use Prisma, you get access to all of this stuff. So Prisma.user, and then you click dot, you get access to all of this stuff. The ones that I know is I find many that basically finds them all. We got delete, you got create. I haven't used some of these, like I don't know what find unique or throw. I never used those ones. Group by, I used that before. I never used upsert, but yeah, you get access to all of this stuff here. I'm gonna find unique, do parentheses, then we're gonna do brackets, and we gotta tell it where to find it. So you get where. So we wanted to find an email at the email. That's going to be our session.user.email. We're gonna make sure this is a string. All right. Right underneath here, we're gonna have a, so if it's not our current user, we're just gonna return null. All right. A little bit of error handling here. All right, so right underneath this where we return null, so make sure you're right after the try. We're gonna have a catch, and we're just gonna catch an error, and we're gonna return null. If you want, you can just define the type and do any there. All right, so that is our get current user. So now let's head over to our layout where we're actually about to use this get current user, see it in action. So underneath auth contacts, I'm gonna go ahead and import get current user, and down here underneath before our return statement, we're going to do a const user, and that's going to equal await get current user. All right, so since we're using await, we have to turn this function into async. So right after this, we're gonna make this async. All right, now we got access to this get current user. Yeah, make sure we make that, put parentheses there. All right, so now we can send over users to our navbar. So we're gonna do user equal user. All right, we will get an error because we're not accepting this prop inside of our nav yet. So let's head over to our navbar component. First thing first, we're gonna take in the prop. All right, and there's a few more imports. this thing is so different. Let's go ahead and get rid of that TypeScript error now. So do interface navbar props. It's gonna be user. It's gonna equal user, and that's gonna be coming from Prisma client. Okay. And normally you would probably just do something like this, equals navbar props, but that won't work. Trust me, it's gonna cause some errors. To fix that, we're just gonna do React user.fc, and then do navbar props here like that. All right, perfect. All right, and let's make sure, see what the difference is here. All right, so we are going to make a few more imports. We're going to import use router. That's going to be coming from Next Navigation. We're also going to import sign out, and that's going to be coming from NextAuth React. And then last but not least, we're going to import the image tag from Next. All right, make some space here. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll down, and we want, let's go ahead and wait till this refresh. The error navbar is not defined. What? Oh, got the R there. All right, so once we signed in, because right now we're currently signed in, okay, we don't want to show login and sign up buttons. So down here underneath our UL, so underneath here, we want to dynamically render these buttons to only show when we're not signed in. So let's go ahead and just highlight them and put a bracket, and then we're gonna do, so if we're not a user, do and make sure you do parentheses like this, and let's go and click save, and hopefully they disappear. Are we signed in? It's still showing even though we're signed in. And to fix that, so it took a little bit of debugging. After this, after we did this little error check, so if it's not current user, we return null. So after that, we're just gonna do another return, and we forgot we have to return our current user like that. And let's click on save. As you can see, now it disappears because we're returning our current user with a spread operator. So that's good. So let's head back over to our navbar. And so we only want to render these buttons when we're not signed in. So we're currently signed in, so they're not there. And now we want to render out some stuff when we are signed in. So let's do brackets. I'm gonna do user and now we can write some JSX. So we want a div. Have a class name of flex, gap of 5, item center, a flex of 1, and a justify end. And also on max MD, we want it to be hidden. All right. And here we're gonna have a h1. It's gonna be our user dot name. Like that. Let's see what how that looks. There we go. Then we got my name there, Antonio Rogers. And underneath that, we're gonna have our image. So that's gonna be the image that's tied into our social that we signed in with. So if we sign in with GitHub, it's gonna show our GitHub image. If we sign in with Facebook, it's show our Facebook, and same with Google. So this to do this, we're gonna do user, and then we're gonna do user.image. And then we gotta make sure we do edge string. And we want the width to be 50, the height to be 50, and it's also gonna have a class name of rounded full, a border of 4. Our border color is gonna be primary, and then we also want cursor pointer on it as well. And then our alt, we're gonna do brackets, we're gonna do backticks. It's gonna be image of our user name, right? And then we also gonna have an on click to we don't have this on click yet, so but for now let's go ahead and just add it, and then we'll just return null like this, like that. But we're gonna add an on click to that here in a second. Let's go ahead and save that, and we should get an error. See, So invalid source prop is because we have to head over to our next config and we got to add this domain in. So it's LH3. What I like doing, I just copy. Actually, we can just copy this right here. Copy this domain. And then here, I'm going to do a comma. And paste that domain in there. So whenever you mess with this config, it's going to knock you out. You gotta close out the server and go back. So let's go and do an npm run dev. We'll refresh, and then hopefully we can see our image. While that's loading, let's head back over to our navbar. All right. Wait a second to load. All right, perfect. You can see our image. Once it loads, there we go. So we got the image from my, as you can see on that, or the browser, that's my image, that A. All right. So now we also want access to our user menu. So once we click this, I want a menu to show where we can create posts. We can delete and edit our posts. Well, we can't edit. We're just going to be able to delete it. So we can create posts. We're going to have our user dashboard, and we also going to have the option to sign out as well. So to do that, we actually got to set some state. So let's go and do a const open user menu, and then set open user menu. And by default, it's going to be false. State, oh, I put user state, use state, and it's going to be false. All right. So down here, now for this on click, we can just do a set open user menu, and it's going to toggle our open user menu. Okay, so it's basically every time we click it, it's going to go true, false, like just keep going. So make sure you don't put false there or put true, because once you click it, it's just going to be true. You won't be able to make it false. So make sure you put it like this, the way it can toggle it. All right, so right after this, where we're rendering out our image and our name, we're going to do some more brackets, and we're going to do if open user menu, and then here we're going to write some JSX. We're going to have a UL, and this is going to have a class name of Z10, absolute, a right of 12, a top of 70 pixels, a width of 48, a BG of white, a shadow MD, a rounded MD, and then a padding of 4. I'm gonna save that. Let's see if we see anything. So once we click, as you can see, it's showing like the menu there, but we don't have any content in it. All right, so let's go ahead and put some content. We have a link tag, the first one, and href, it's going to be /create. We didn't create this yet, but we also gonna have an on click to this. So whenever we click on it, we want to set the open user menu to false, because if we don't add that there, once we click on the link and it takes us to that page, whenever we get on the page, user menu is still going to be true. So we wanted to set it to false. Once we click on the link, so in this we're gonna have a li, and it's going to be create a post. Now we got create a post. Nice. All right, next one, we're just going to copy this link, and I'm going to paste it again. The next one is going to take us to user post like that. And instead of create a post, it's going to say my post. All right. And then last but not least, this next one, we're actually not gonna have an href for this. We're just gonna have an on click. And on click is just going to be sign out. All right, sign out. But if we just keep it like that, so let's go ahead and save it. Click on it. Build so I guess it does need. Okay, so let's remove the link and just add the on click on the li itself like that, and remove the link for this one. All right, and so we keep it like that. As you can see, once we hover over it, we don't have that cursor pointer because it's not a link. So let's go ahead and add that. We have a class name of just cursor pointer like that. All right, perfect. We got create a post, my post, and that. Oh, I forgot to change this to sign out. All right, and now once we click on that, sign out. Now we're back to the home screen, and we're currently signed out. We got our login and sign in button. So let's go ahead and add some functionality to those buttons, so that way we don't got to keep typing in access on our browser. So up here, we got on click. Where are we at? So this is login button. So here we're gonna have a link around these. Actually, we can just do a router.push. So on click, let's do router.push. Router.push. Okay, the whole reason why it's uppercasing because we up here we got to make sure we create it. So underneath this use state, we can do const router equal use router like that. All right, let's head back down. Now we should be able to use it. So router.push, and we're going to push our access page like that. All right, and make sure you put a slash in front of it. And same with the sign up, because you can sign up and you can sign in with this link. I didn't want to make it too complicated. All right, perfect. And now once we click, now we're to our sign up page, and then we can log in with our Google. Now we're back to home, and we have our user, we have access to our user menu. Perfect. So now I think it's actually time to create our page to where we can create a post. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so before we start our create a post page, we're actually going to update and add some of our UI components. We're going to update some of the old ones. So we're going to update button, and I believe we have to update tag as well. Not sure yet. So under button, let's go ahead and update this one. We're going to import CLSX, and it's going to come from CLSX. And we're going to add some more button props. So we're going to add an action. We'll make it optional, and it's going to be Boolean. And then we're also going to add a type as well. And that's going to be optional. We're going to do button or submit or reset. All right. And let's go ahead and add these to our props. So we got aria, action, and type. Perfect. All right. And down here on our button, we're gonna do type equals type. And all right, we're not going to do action equals action. We're we're actually going to render out a different styling if action is true. So to do that, what I'm going to do is we can actually just cut this. So just just cut it. So just make sure you save it. I don't think I saved it. All right. And then for the class name, we're going to do brackets. And then we're going to do CLSX parentheses. And then inside here, we still want to render out the styling that we just had. So BG primary, PY1, PX4, rounded, just going over it to make sure everything looks correct. But now we can add a comma, and now we can do if it's action. We want to render out some different styling. So you want position absolute, want a top of 5, want a Z of 2, a right of 5, a BG red 600, a PX of 5, a PY of 1, text white, a rounded MD, and also on hover, you want the BG to be red 500. All right, so that's only if action is true. So that's our button one. Our map is going to stay the same. Our overlay is going to stay the same. Route should stay the same. Tag, let me see if there's any changes in this one. So for our tag, we're actually going to come back in here, but not now. We're going to have to remove this array there because from our database, our category, it's not an array. We're just using just a string for it, so it won't be a string of arrays. It's just, I mean, a array of string is just going to be just one string. So, but we're not going to do anything with it now. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to add a few more inputs. So let's go ahead and create another one. I mean, not a few more UI components. We're going to do a form.tsx. All right, let's go ahead and do this one. This is going to be our form that we're about to use on our creative post page. It's going to be use client, and we're going to import useRef, and we're using a Next.js server action, so that's going to be fun. It's the form event, and we're also going to import React Node, which I don't even think we have to import anymore, to be honest. And let's go ahead and do our props. So we're going to do interface, on props, and then our children going to be React Node. Our action is going to be form data. It's going to equal to form data, and then we're going to return a promise. And it's going to be void or a boolean. I'm going to do class name, going to be a string, and we're also going to make this optional. Let's put question mark there, and last but not least, we're going to have an on submit. And this is going to be optional as well. And this is going to take an event, which is going to be a form event. And that's the HTML element. HTML form element. And that's going to return void. All right. All right, so we have all our types. So we got our form props, and let's go ahead and create our form now. So we're gonna do a cons form, and let's do our props. Make some space here, and then we scroll down some. So we're gonna take in our children, comma, taking our action, comma, taking our class name, and we also want to take in an on submit. Right. this capital. All right. And this is going to be, let's make this into our form props, which I thought I named it form props. Okay. All right. That's that. And then after we gotta return, and now we're gonna return some JSX. So first thing, I'm gonna do a const ref, and that's going to equal use ref and null. Alright, and just for TypeScript sake, and this is a HTML form element. Alright, we got our actions. Put an S on here by mistake. Alright, so after that, now we're gonna do our return, and this is going to be a form, and our action, let's keep it empty for now. Inside of this form, only thing is just going to be our children. All right, our form going to take a bunch of stuff. Let me just make some space here. First one is going to be our class name, which is going to be class name. Our on submit, it's going to be on submit. Our ref is going to be ref, and then our action is going to equal to, so it won't equal to action. Our action is going to equal to async. This is something that I just learned recently. I didn't know that I could put an async function inside of like an action like this, or just props in general like this. So we're gonna do form data, and we're gonna return and await action, which is gonna take in our form data. And then we also want to reset the form, so we're gonna do ref .current .reset that, and we're getting an error because we gotta put a question mark on current. That. All right, so that is our form component. Oh, we forgot to export default. Let's do export default form. All right, that's our form component. Now we need to do our input component. So still under UI, we're going to create another file. It's going to be input.tsx. All right, and the same thing, we're going to import clsx. Same thing as our button. Let's go ahead and define our props. We'll do interface input props. The name is going to be a string. We're going to have a type, which is going to be a string. We're going to have a placeholder, which is going to be a string. And we're also going to make this optional because we're actually going to have some inputs that's hidden. It's the whole like little trick with doing server actions. We're going to have a value, and that's going to be a string, or number, or read only string with an array, or undefined. Right, and value is going to be optional as well. And then last but not least, we're gonna have a large. Actually, we're not gonna add large because I forgot that I took that out because I just made a text area. So at first I made this input and I kind of made my own little text area with it. So I had the one of the types to be large, and whenever large was true, it showed like the styling for that. I ended up just making a text area inside of the form. And another thing is, I don't think we need to get sessions here. I believe I was using this as well for something else that I ended up taking off the site. So for now, let's go ahead and delete it. We're going to delete get sessions. I don't think we need that. Wait. Oh, okay. Let's make sure. All right, and let's head back over to our input, and let's go ahead and do const input. Let's go ahead and take in our props. First is going to be name, type, placeholder, value, and that's it. And let's go ahead and define them to our input props. Input props. Do our return. Alright, we're gonna have a fragment. And we're gonna have our input tag, which is gonna be self-closing. And this is gonna take a bunch of stuff. Class name is going to be text gray non-100, a shadow small, a ring 1, a ring inset, a ring grade 300, placeholder, we want the text to be grade 400. On focus, we want a ring 2. Ring 2. We also want the focus ring to be primary. Ring primary. Let me just scroll over. It's a pretty long class name, right? Ring primary. We also gonna do small screens. We want the text to be small. Small screens and up. We're gonna do a leading of 6. I'm gonna have a border, a width full, a border gray 600 or 200, sorry, a padding of 2, a rounded MD, and then last but not least, a PY of 1.5. Thank God for reusable components. Can you imagine having to retype this for each and every input? Oh man. All right, that's pretty long. All right, so hopefully I didn't forget anything. So we got our class name. We have we got taking our name, which is going to equal to name. We're gonna have a type, which is going to equal to type. We also need our value as well. Going to be value. And placeholder is going to be placeholder. And last but not least, we're going to make it required as well. All right, I'm going to save that, and that is our input. And we also need to export default or default input. Nice. All right, so now we can go ahead and create our actual create a post page. So inside of our app, we're getting an error here. Let me see. Let's head over to Navbar and see what this error is about. Okay, we'll go back and fix that. No biggie. Let me see. Yeah, we'll go back and fix that. But for now, let's go ahead under app, and we're going to create a folder, and this one's going to be called create. All right. And then in this folder, we have a page, tsx. All right. So in the demo, we had our, let's go ahead and create over to, actually, we should be able to just direct it from here. Let's go ahead and export it, and click save. Now it should pop up. All right, perfect. So in demo, we had a way to drag and drop our images, and we'll be using this thing called EdgeStore. It's a website called EdgeStore. I was watching a video and it just popped up, and I ended up really liking it. There's like no videos about it or anything. I honestly think I'm probably the first one to ever use it in a full stack project like this. But it's really cool. I mean, I like it, and it's free. There you could pay for a plan for like bigger storage, but 1.5 gigabyte with images is a lot. Like, you could save probably like 1,000 images with this. So I highly recommend using this. So let's go ahead and sign up. You can go ahead and log in with your GitHub. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so once you sign in, you just want to this is a good example here. So this is the one that I made for the completed project, and you see we got only 39 files and only 13.3 megabytes. So this is more than enough in my opinion. And their docs is pretty good as well. There was some issues with the stuff, but I ended up fixing it on for myself, and I'm going to show you guys that here in a second. So let's go ahead and click on new project. Oh, project. Okay, so you got to upgrade your account to use the new projects, which, okay, so you only can have one project. So what I'm going to do is I guess I could just probably just use this one. So you just want to create a project, and let's see, where do we connect it at? Oh, project keys. Okay, so just make sure you create it, and then you're going to have these your EdgeStore access key and also your EdgeStore secret key. So once you do that, that's all you really need to get everything set up. And then we're going to head over to our .env, and let's go ahead and paste it in here. I'm not sure why that one is the project keys. Okay, my bad. You're supposed to show the eye. Let me click on the eye icon, and now we're gonna paste. All right, perfect. So we got our EdgeStore access key and our EdgeStore secret key. So let's head over to our page. All right, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna import get current user, and we're also going to import actually, we're not going to import that yet. Let's go ahead and do const user, and that's going to equal to await get current user. So if we're using await, we got to make this an async function. So async. Okay, and now we want to render out our create form. Okay, so we didn't create this yet, but we're going to do create form, and we want to send this our user. All right, and let's go ahead and create that now. So under components, under shared, create our create form .tsx. Go ahead and do that, and then inside of our page, just going to import it now. Import create form. All right, perfect. Now let's go take a look. You can keep EdgeStore open because we're going to be needing some stuff in here. We still got to finish setting everything up as well and installing it. I didn't skip so many steps. We didn't even npm install it or anything. All right, so we got our create form. Let's go ahead and finish installing EdgeStore because we're gonna need a component in here. So let's go ahead and copy that. Head back into our project. Paste that in there. Let that install. So we already did step number 2. All right, and scroll down. Now we got to make a file inside of our API. So I'm gonna make another API folder. So this is our auth. So we don't want it in there because this is where all our auth are at. So we actually want another API folder. And this one's is going to have API/EdgeStore. So create another folder in here. And it's going to be called EdgeStore. And then it says do the spread operator and then a route. So EdgeStore, another folder, brackets, ... EdgeStore. And then in this one, it's going to be a route. Route.ts. All right, perfect. And then we just got to copy this. We don't got to make any changes to this. All right. Cool. All right, so we got that. And now scrolling down, we got to make a file inside of our lib folder. So let me just close out this. And let's copy this here. So inside of our lib, we have another file, and it's going to be called EdgeStore.ts. And paste that in there. And now we got to wrap our component. So head over to our layout. I'm just going to import that. Import. I think it's, what is it? Use EdgeStore or EdgeStore provider. Sorry. EdgeStore provider. And we just want to wrap our component in it. Just make sure that it's inside of our auth content. So do EdgeStore provider. That. All right, perfect. Make sure we don't have any errors. We don't even have our server running anyway. And that's it for now. We don't even need this because we're going to be using this component here. So if we go into components and go to image, we're going to be using this drag and drop thing here. I ran into some issues with it. I just changed up the styling and stuff, and changed up the code a little bit, but we're going to make it work. All right, so for now we can close out of this and then close out of that one and just open up your dashboard. Yours should be empty. Mine has files in it because I'm using the same one as the completed one. And let's go ahead and start our server back. Npm run dev. And then we're going to head down to our components, share, create form. And let's go ahead and start this. All right, so first thing, we're going to do a use client because it's going to be a client component. And we're going to import our form from our UI. Make some space here. Let's go a bunch of imports. We're also going to import our input from UI. And then we're going to import our use EdgeStore. And that's coming from the lib EdgeStore. And then we're going to import use effect and use state. Use effect and use state from React. We're going to import a button from our UI. And for now, that's it. We're going to have a little bit more imports, but for now, that's it. Now afterwards, we're going to do a cons. Actually, make some space here. Bring this up. All right. So inside of this, our create form component. First thing off the rip, we got to take in our user. All right. And we're going to set some state. So we're going to do a cons file and then set file. And that's just going to equal use state. And it's going to have nothing in it, but we got to make sure we do our TypeScript stuff. Make that a file like that. And then we're going to do a cons EdgeStore. and that's going to equal use EdgeStore. All right, like that. And now we're going to need our image path. We're going to do a cons image path, and then set image path, and that's going to equal use state. Default is just going to be empty. All right, so let's go ahead and do our upload image handler. So we head over to the docs on EdgeStore. It shows you how to do it down here. So as you can see, we're gonna do something like this. So just cons res upload public files. So we can actually copy this here. All right, so let's do a cons upload image handler. This took so long to get it to work that work the way that I wanted it to work. So we're gonna return async. We're gonna do it. So we're just gonna paste that in there. All right, but we are gonna switch it up a bit. It's actually gonna switch up a lot. So we're gonna do an if file. Then we want to run this function here. Paste that in there. So with file, we're gonna wait EdgeStore public files upload, and it's gonna upload our file. We don't want this on change. We can get rid of that. Get rid of that as well. So file, and then after it, we also going to set our image path to our res.url. Okay, cool. And now it's going to run a use effect. And then we're going to do if file. We're just going to run our upload image handler function. And then we're going to, our dependency array, we're just going to look for any changes inside of our file. All right. Make sure I did that right. Yep. Perfect. All right, let's make sure we don't have any errors. We're gonna refresh. Taking a while to refresh. But while that's refreshing, we can go ahead and write some JSX. So let's start off with a div. This div is gonna have a class name of margin top 8, mx of auto, width of full, a max width of 3xl. And a px of 4. Inside this div, we're gonna have another div. My computer's going slow. And it's gonna have a class name of bg white, a py of 8, shadow, a rounded lg, and a px of 10. I'm gonna save that. All right, we shouldn't see anything. Oh, we do. We see our form right there, or the background for our form. And then we have an h1 in here, and this one's just gonna have a class name of text center, a text 2xl, a font of extra bold, and a margin bottom of 10. And this is just going to say create a post. Okay, and go ahead and copy over this emoji here. Nice. All right, cool. So we don't want this form to be rendered out if you're not a user. So we're gonna put something under this h1 that shows. So if we're not a user, we're gonna render out a div. This div is gonna have a class name of text center, text XL, a font of extra bold, and uppercase. And it's just going to say have a H. I meant to say H1. Sorry. Or we could just do H2. And it's going to say, please sign up or log in to create a post. Take a look. Oh, okay. We're doing a ternary operator, so we need our else. So else we could just return null for now. Just want it so that way we can see the changes. Refresh. Okay, so we are a user, so we won't see it, which is good. All right, because we're signed in. So now let's go ahead and write more stuff. So we're gonna have fragment, and then here at the top is where we're gonna have our single image drop zone. So you head over to the docs and then head over to image. They have this single image drop zone here that we want to use. Let's go ahead and install that. So let's go, you gotta install this package. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, and then we gotta copy over this component here, and we're gonna put this inside of our UI. We're gonna do single image drop zone.tsx, and I'm just gonna go ahead and paste that in there. Okay, and then click on save. And now let's head back. Let's go ahead and start our server back. All right. And then head back up to our create form, and we're going to import it here inside of this fragment. So single image drop zone. All right, so if you refresh, you should see the drag and drop component. We're going to change the color of this hover button here in a second, but I say we go ahead and create our server action for our form, because right underneath here we're gonna have our form component. So let's go ahead and knock that out. And I also think we should do our types as well. And there's a few things we have to do in the mobile menu, but I might save that for last, because we forgot to change up some stuff in this as well. So let's go ahead and under actions, log actions, this is where we're going to have our server actions. So we're going to do use server, and we're going to import Prisma. That's going to come from @lib @/lib/prismadb, and then we also going to import revalidate path, and that's coming from next cache. All right, and let's do our export. We're going to do the create one first, create post, and we're also going to do a delete one, all in one file. So we're going to do export async function create post, and we're going to take in our form data. All right, and in here we're going to grab all of our inputs that we're going to have. So first one we're going to have is our title. That's going to equal form data. So once you press the dot, we should get access to autocomplete. So form data, we got a pin, we got delete for each, keys, and we're going to do .get, and we're going to get the input with the title, with the name title, and it's going to be a string. All right, and what I'm going to do is just copy this and just switch up. We're going to copy it 4 more times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just switch everything up. So this next one is going to be description. So we're going to do DESC, and the title, the name for this is going to be description. Third one's going to be category. We're just going to do cat, and we're going to grab the category. The fourth one is going to be user email. Going to be email. And last but not least, we want our image. I'm going to do image, and then this is going to be image. All right. So now in here we can do Prisma create. So we're going to do await Prisma dot log dot create, and we gotta give it data. We're gonna do image. It's going to be our image, comma. Our title is going to be title. DESC, which is description, going to be DESC. And our category is going to be cat. And last but not least, our user email is going to be user email. All right. So after all of that, we got to make sure we validate the path. So I'm going to do revalidate path and dash create. All right. So that is our server action for creating a blog post. Down here, we're going to do a to delete our blog post, and this functionality is going to be used on our user dashboard page. I'm going to do export async function delete posts, and same thing, I'm taking form data and in the return only thing we're going to grab is we're going to grab one form input. So we're going to do const id, and that's going to equal form data dot get, and we're grabbing a post id, and that's going to be as string. All right, and now we can do our Prisma delete method. So we're going to do await Prisma dot log dot delete, and we just got to tell it where, and we're just gonna go by the ID. So ID equals ID. All right, and then we also going to revalidate this path as well, and this path name is going to be user post with an S. We haven't created this yet, but all right. So that is our server actions for creating a blog and deleting the posts. Perfect. All right, so let me go ahead and close out of everything, clean this up a bit. Got a bunch open, really unorganized. Wow, I got a lot open actually. Hold on. Eesh. All right, almost done. All right, perfect. All right, so inside of the root, we're going to create another folder, and this is going to be called types. All right, and we go open that up. First one we're going to make is our user types. Do user types .ts. All right, and in here we're just going to do an export type user types. And we're going to have an ID, which is going to be a string. We're going to have a name, which is going to be a string, or it could be null. I'm going to have an email, which is going to be a string or null. We're going to do an email verified, even though we don't verify the email, but we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do date string and null. So let me just go check the Prisma schema right quick. So we copied over the code from NextAuth itself. And if you check the user, we have the email verified here. We could just remove it, to be honest, but I mean, like I said, I just keep everything. Blog. Wait, do we? Okay. Did we add this? I don't even remember us adding this. Blog. Okay. All right. Cool. I don't even remember us adding that. That's crazy. We're gonna do image string null. That shows you that it takes a lot of days to create this to create these tutorials, because I got 3 children and a wife. It's really hard to find time to record, and I work as well, so takes time. These videos take multiple days to do, so I really do appreciate everybody watching. All right, so we got our user types, and now we're going to create our post types. So in our types, create another file, and it's going to be post types.ts. Right, and in here we're going to import user from Prisma client. All right, and we're going to do export interface post types. All right, so ID is going to be string. I might just copy this over because it's a bunch. All right, let's just copy this, paste it in. So we got an ID string, title string, image string, description string, featured boolean, top post boolean. We also got a category string, our author image, because everything's gonna be tied into our posts. We're like, whenever we grab our posts, we're gonna also be grabbing the user as well. So author image, we got our author name, publish date, created at, and also user is going to be user. All right, perfect. I'm gonna close out of that and close out of that. All right, nice. So now we can go over back to our create form, and we can go ahead and finish this out. All right, and now we can actually, I don't know what that is. Let's go ahead and import user types. All right, and we can also import create post from our actions as well. All right, now we can define our type here. So we're going to do user, it's going to be user types. All right, and we got our image path. All right, so down here, let's go ahead and finish writing some JSX. So right underneath our single image drop zone, this is going to take some props, but for now, let's just leave it empty. Let me make sure my server's running. All right, and so right underneath this single image drop zone, we're gonna have our form component. Form. All right, so if you guys remember, our form take in action, it takes in class name. So our action is going to be create post, and our class name is going to be flex call, gap of 5, and a margin top of 5. All right, and it also takes an on submit, and this on submit, we're just going to set file. For now, we could just set it to null or maybe undefined. That let's make sure. Okay. All right, and in here we're gonna have our inputs. So input. All right, so the first one is going to be type hidden. We don't want to see this one, but it's going to hold the value of our image path. So name is going to be image, and our value is going to be image path. Okay, so this is going to hold this image path. So if you check here, our upload image handler, so whenever we upload to EdgeStore, it's going to set our image path to this res.url, which is going to be saved inside of this input. And whenever we click create post, it's going to send that path to our database, and that way we can use that path to fetch all our images. It was kind of tough getting this to work. It took me I probably spent about 2 days trying to get this to work, but I finally got it to work. All right, and this is what I came up with. So with that input is hidden, and then we're gonna have our other input here. And this name is going to be title, and a type is going to be text, and we also have a placeholder that just says enter title, like that. All right, we got that. And now we're gonna have our text area. We can delete all of this stuff in there. We're just gonna retype some stuff. All right, so this one's gonna have required. The name is going to be description. We're gonna have rows is going to be 10. Our placeholder is going to be right here, ... All right, and let's head over to our input component, because we're just going to copy over the class name. It's pretty long, so we'll head over to UI input, and we're going to copy this and head back over to our create form, and then for the class name, I'm going to paste that in there. Let's take a look. Perfect. We got our focus ring. It's orange. Looks nice. All right, so that's our text area. Now we're gonna have a drop down. So we're gonna have a select. So select. The name for this is going to be category. Category, and then the ID is going to be. I don't even think we need the ID. Yeah, we don't need that. All right, let me just make some space here. Let's move this down here and make some more space. So this is going to be required as well. And the class name is going to be same thing. I'll just paste the long thing in there. And now we need our options in here. So the first option, the value is going to be empty, but it's going to be disabled. We're going to do selected, and it's going to say choose tag, like that. Let's take a quick look. There we go. So that's disabled. We can't choose that one. Now we're going to have our options now. So we have an option and a value. First one is going to be adventure. I have adventure. All right, let's take a quick look. Now we can choose adventure there. Let's copy this, and we're gonna paste it 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's switch it up. The second one's going to be culture. Culture. Third one's going to be journey. Fourth one's going to be discovery. Discovery. All right. And last but not least, last was going to be Wanderlust. Wanderlust. All right, let's take a quick look. And we got our tags there. And now we need our, so if you head over to our actions, under app, actions, blog actions. So we're sending over to our database a user email. And this user email, it's basically gonna tie in the blog that's getting created to that user. All right. So under create form, under this select, we're gonna have another hidden input. And this name is going to be email, and the type is going to be hidden, and the value is going to be user.email. All right, and it could be empty as well, so let's do that. Let's put a question mark there. All right, so that's gonna tie in our user to the blog that's getting created. And now we're gonna have our button component, and the type for this is going to be submit, and the text is going to be create, and we have an aria as well. It's going to say create blog. All right, perfect, nice. All right, I think we can actually test this out now and see if this works. I'm actually scared, I'm not gonna lie. So let's get an image here. Desktop, do a wallpaper, and I'm gonna do the star fill wallpaper. All right, get it back over to EdgeStore. So let's open everything back up. So open EdgeStore, and I'm gonna open up MongoDB Atlas as well. All right, so as you can see, it's not showing a preview. So I believe that was one thing that we needed. Oh, okay, we forgot to send over the props. All right, so we need an on change, and it's gonna take in file, and it's gonna return. Let me go back. All right, this on change going to be file, and then it's going to return set file to file. All right, and the value is going to be file, like that. All right, so now let's try this out. Select, and I want to choose this image. All right, nice. We can actually change the width to 200, and then the height to 200. It'll probably make it look a little bit weird. We're gonna fix that. All right, so we got our image there. Now let's type in our title, and it's gonna say test. Right here, it's going to be test, adventure. And let's go ahead and create. Okay. Now let's see if this showed up in our database. Sign back in. Google. First, let's see if it showed up here as well while that's loading. Go to the dashboard. Yep, it should have, because I had 39 files. So this should be it. Yep, 12/4, 2:59 a.m. You guys see how late it is? This is this is the time I get to record, at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm really out here grinding. All right, so browse collections, and oh, I see it, blog. There we go, nice. We got our image, URL, and the good thing is if we go to this URL, it'll take us to that image. So that's how we're going to fetch our images on our website. And we got our title, description, user email. So it's going to be tied into the user. Perfect. And we got an ID as well. And we also got the time it was created. All right. So everything is working the way we want to. So head over to this single image drop zone. We're going to change a few things in here. Let me go and open it up on my other monitor. Components. All right, so in here we're just going to change up a few things, a few styling. I gotta remember where they are. because it's a pretty long file. I know one is up here. So for image, we're going to do a min width or min height 0. We're going to do a min width of full. All right. And then scrolling down. Let's see if we can find it. I believe it's here. Maybe. Hold on. Let me just do a Control F. All right. So it is under the button. Where is that at? Where is that button at? Right here. Button. Nice. Alright, so we're going to change this color of these buttons. So we want the border to be gray 100. We want the text to be text T. And we want the shadow hover BG gray. The hover text is going to be white. Oh, we don't even need the dark. We don't have dark mode, so let's just take that out. And let's take a quick look at this. All right. So hover BG is going to be primary, like that. All right, nice. That's what we want. Perfect. All right, and we want this to be width full. We gotta find out how we're gonna fix this. Base. Let's see. I can see where I did it here. All right. I think I did it up here in the base here. Oh, yep. Here we go. 200 pixels. So we're just gonna do full like that. Nice. And let's see if our image gonna be what we want it to be. Let's do this. Perfect. All right, nice. And we can close it. All right, nice. I think our form is complete. For now, I mean, I don't think we missed anything. There is one thing we have to do inside of our page. So head back over to create page. And well, I thought we would have an error here, but I guess we don't. All right, perfect. All right, so now I say we go ahead and do our user post page so we can check all of our posts. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so under app, we're going to create another folder, and it's going to be called user post with an S. Then we have our page. Page.tsx. All right, I'm going to save that. Go over to my post. Oh, we forgot to export it. This happens every time. All right, just going to save that. And now let's see. All right, so we got our page now. All right, so let's go ahead and do this page. We're going to do, this page isn't too much. It's about 40 lines of code. I'm going to do import Prisma. And that's going to be from @/lib/prisma.db. Then we're also going to import get current user as well. We're going to import our blog card. So a bunch of this stuff is actually going to change, and I was trying my best to see which way I should approach doing this. One thing that I'm not going to do anymore is split up the videos like this. I'm going to try to just build everything in one run, because doing it this way is kind of confusing on my end as well, because I got to figure out, you know, what changes were made for the next video. So this will be the last time I split up videos because it's really confusing like this. So I say after we do this page, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go down each component and just make the changes necessary so everything can work properly. So let's go ahead and finish up this page. So we're gonna import delete posts, which we didn't make yet, so I'm actually gonna just leave it empty for now. I'm not gonna put anything. All right, so we want this to be a async function because now we're going to use that get current user action. Const user, that's going to equal await get current user. All right, and now we can also grab our post as well. So we're gonna do const post await Prisma dot blog dot find mini All right, and we gotta tell it where. So we want it where is going to be our user email, and that's going to be our user dot email like that. And we gotta make sure we put a question mark. Spelled email wrong. All right, so we are getting an error here, and to fix that we just gotta do 2 question marks undefined like that. All right, and we can also do an order by. So you can order by created at, and we're gonna do DEC. All right, and then we're gonna do another comma, and now we're gonna also include our user. So we're gonna do user equals true. So now we should have access to our posts. So now down here for some JSX, we're gonna div class name with full. In this div, we have another div, and it's gonna have a class name of max width of 90%, and then mx of auto. And we have another div. It's gonna have width, a class name of width full, a text center, and a margin bottom of 10. All right. And now let's hopefully we have access to everything, because inside of this H1 we're gonna have hello user dot. So that's a good indication that we have access to it. Once you click a dot and the autocomplete show up. So we're gonna do user dot name, and let's see if that pops up. Let's see if our name pops up there. Nice, perfect. All right. And let's style this H1 up a bit. I'm gonna do a class name of text 3XL, a font of extra bold, and then a text T. All right. And then after this H1, we're gonna have a span with a class name of just text LG. And in this span, we're just going to do you have published, and do post dot length post. So we should have one post because we just published one. All right, and so we got our span, we got our div. So underneath this div here, we're gonna have another div. And we're going to use grid this time. Grid on medium screens and up. We're going to have grid col 2. Smaller screens, we're going to have a grid col 1. We're going to have a justify center, item center, and then also a gap of 10. And then inside of this div, we're going to map through our posts. We're going to do post.map. And we're going to return JSX, so make sure you put parentheses and not brackets, like that. And we're going to return a div, and this div is just going to have a class name of relative. All right, and here we're going to have our blog card. But we also have to send our post to the blog card post. And you could just yeah, you could just do it like that. We are going to error. You could just do as any, because we're going to define the post inside of blog card anyway. All right, post. Oh, we forgot to put post here, so make sure to do post like that. And then for the key for this div, we're gonna have a key, and we could just do post.id. All right, so now let's see this works. It's gonna probably look weird. So as you can see, our blog card is looking for post.image path because we're not going to be using that data anymore. So that's why I say the site's going to break up a bit. So let's head over to blog card, which is under our shared, and we're going to switch up some things in here so we can get everything working. Let me go ahead and open it up on my other monitor. Blog card. All right. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to import post types. Post types. That's coming from our types. And so we don't have to do any here like that. So blog card. I'm going to do react.sc. Right, and then we're going to do brackets post. That's going to be for post types like that. Make sure we close the bracket like that. It's going to save that. All right, so it's looking for post.image path. So to fix that, we just got to do img, because that's what it is in our database. Let's see what else is missing. So tags. So we're not using tags anymore. We're using post.category. All right, and we're getting a text there. And that's because, like I said, whenever we did our UI components in our text, we're looking for a string. So let's just remove that, and that should fix that error if I'm not mistaken. All right, last but not least, it's looking up this query. We're actually going to change this because we're going to be fetching. We're going to use an API to do dynamic routes. Sorry, I couldn't even talk there for a second. So let's actually get rid of all of this, and we're gonna do backticks /blog $$ brackets. It's just going to be post.id. Going to save that, and hopefully everything works now. Let's see. Okay, so we're still getting. Or maybe did we name it image? Let's go check our schema. Okay, so yeah, we named it img. All right, let's head back over to our blog card. Cannot read post. Let's see, page. Oh, okay, that's why. We forgot to take out the S. So now everything should work, and we should see one post. All right, so we're getting the invalid source prop because we're trying to get images from EdgeStore. So to fix that, we're just going to copy this files.edgestore.dev. We're going to head over to our next config. And we're going to do comma, paste that in there. Make sure you put it in quotes. Once we save, we have to restart our server. All right, so once you start your server back up, you should see our post here. And now we want the ability to delete this post if we want to. So let's go ahead under our shared. We're going to create another component, and this is going to be called delete post.tsx. All right. And then this is going to be a use client, because we'll be using useState. I'm going to import useState from React. We're also going to import delete post from our server actions. And then we're also going to import button from our UI. And last but not least, post types. Post types. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to be lazy. Just do the little snippet. Delete that. All right. So let's so we got our delete posts. Let's go ahead and fix this TypeScript error before it even happens. So we're going to do react.fc. Brackets and then post. It's going to be post types. Right, and make sure you close it like that. And now we're going to take in our post. All right, we don't have this yet because under, let's see, under user posts, we actually have to import that in here now. So delete post. All right, and let's go ahead and send it over to props. So post equals post. All right, and we could do as any here. Get rid of that TypeScript error. All right, cool. So delete posts. And now let's go ahead and set some state, because we're gonna have a modal pop up whenever we click on the delete button. So we're gonna do a const show modal, set show modal, and by default, you guessed it, it's going to be false. I don't know what that was. All right, so false. And now let's go ahead and do some functions. So we got const, we're going to have a handle delete function. And this one's just going to set show modal to true. All right. And I'm actually just going to copy this because there's going to be two more. So we got a handle delete. We're going to have a confirm delete. And that's going to set show modal to false once we confirm it. And then also our cancel delete. I mean, if it's the same thing, we can probably just yeah, we don't need to. We can probably just name this to just close modal, something like that. I don't think we need two of the same things. All right, so let's go and write some JSX. We have a div, and then we're gonna render out our button component. And if you guys remember, that takes in the aria, so say delete post, and then also takes on click, which is going to be our handle delete, and then the text is going to be delete. And then this is also going to be action, so it's going to have the action styling that we made, which is like BG red and stuff like that. There we go. As you can see, it's right there. Underneath here, we're gonna have render our modal dynamic. So if show modal is true, that's when we want to fire this second half of this. So I have a fragment, I have a div, and this, let me just make some space here. I have a class name of fixed, an inset of 0. We're gonna have flex, item center, justify center, and a Z of 50. Right? And it's also gonna have an on click. of going to set show modal to false. All right, let's click on this. All right. Okay, so this right here is basically okay, never mind, I thought it was something else for a second. All right, in here, this next one is going to be our overlay. It's gonna have a class name, and we do have an overlay component, but we're not going to use that in this one because this one's pretty simple. We're just gonna do it with screen, height screen, and then we're gonna have a BG black /40, and then position absolute. All right, so let's click this button. As you can see, once we click, it closes. Click close. Perfect. All right, then we have our div, and this is gonna be our actual modal here. It's gonna have a class name of BG white, pattern of 6, rounded, a shadow LG, and a Z of 40. All right. And here we have a P tag, and it's gonna say, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete this post?" Save that. It's right there. I wonder why it's right there though. It's weird. Let's see. Height screen with screen fixed. Inset of 0. Flex items. That's weird. Alright. Let's just finish it out and we'll figure it out. So we have a div on this. So we have a class name of flex, a gap of 3, and a margin top of 5. And then we're gonna have our form, because we're gonna have our server action. This whole thing with these server actions, you gotta like put forms everywhere. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of, I mean, it's pretty cool, but I don't think I'm gonna be using server actions in all of my projects. So we're going to delete post, and same thing as we did in the create form, we're gonna need a hidden input to hold our post ID, so that way we can know which posts we're deleting. So I have an input, and it's coming from our UI. I forgot to import it, and the type is going to be hidden, and the name is going to be post ID, and the value is going to be post.id. Right, and our form, we're also going to have a on submit, and that's just going to run our confirm, actually our close modal function. All right, so after this, we're gonna have a button. From our button component, we're just gonna have an aria delete post. Type is going to be submit, and then the text is going to say yes. Take a look. Refresh. Okay, I still don't know why it's up there. We're gonna fix that. Alright, so button. Alright, so that's our form, but now we want a button outside of our form. It's gonna be our no button. So the aria is going to say cancel, delete post, and then on click is going to be close modal, and then the text is going to say no. All right, So that's that, and let's figure out why our thing is up here like this. Right, and it looks like we let's see. Okay, it looks like I got too many divs. That's what it is. Okay, yep, it makes sense now. I see what it is. Let's go ahead and delete one of these closing divs. So you should have 3 closing divs here at the bottom. I made a mistake and put the overlay. The overlay is the self. We can actually just make it a self-closing div, to be honest, like that. Gonna save that, and now we got that, and we gotta figure out why this is happening. So we got flex. Oh, that's why. Now we should have that. Perfect. All right, so we do have one problem here. Once we click on this and we click anywhere on our modal, it closes. We don't want that. There's a little trick. Right underneath our self-closing div for our overlay, which is this one, we're gonna add an on click on this BG white padding 6 div here. And do an on click, take an event, and it's going to return e.stop propagation like that. Now once we open the modal and we click anywhere inside of this div, it doesn't close. But if we click outside of it, it closes. So we click yes, we click no, it closes. I don't want to click yes yet because we got to figure out why this is over here. And I actually think it is something to do with our button. So let's head over to our button. And yep, it is. We spelled right wrong. I'm pretty sure you guys spelled yours right. You get it? Right? Spelled yours right here. Alright, so nice. It's right there. I just said right like 10 times already. Alright. So let's go click on delete and click yes. Perfect. It is gone. Let's go check our database and make sure we got no blogs here. Blog 0. Perfect. Alright, and that's what we want. Alright, so moving down, I just want to make sure we get all the components updated. Alright, so we got our create form, we got our delete. We're not changing anything in our footer. Our hero is actually going to change. So let's go ahead and fix up this hero, because we don't want to. Let me open the home page. We don't want to use this blog data anymore. We want to fetch everything from our database. So let's go ahead. I'm going to open it up. Components, shared, and hero. All right, perfect. Okay. So before we do this, actually, we got to send over our post props here. But I mean, since we're here, I guess we can just fix up the page. So we want to remove this blog data. We're not going to be using this anymore. So things might error out. We still tag image. We're going to need image from Next.js. And we're also going to import post types. All right. Refresh, remove that. So we're going to take in our post. All right. And just do post like that. And instead of filtering through our blog data, we're just going to filter through our post. All right. And you can keep that blog if you want, but I guess we'll just change it. Post, and then post. Let's put an S on this. Post, and then put an S on this. We got post. Perfect. We keep all our slice the same. Post.index. We got our article. Keep all of that the same for now. So we're not doing post.tags anymore. We're going to do category. And where's our image at? Our image. So we're not using this href like this anymore. Remember, we're going to be fetching it from our database. So we're going to do backticks / blog / $, brackets, and then post.id. Okay. We're not using image path no more. We're doing post.image. Overlay, everything can stay the same there. Here, I'm just going to copy, where are we? Where's our link? Copy this href. And here, and put it here. All right. So same thing, we're not using image path, we're using img. Post.title can stay the same. We're using categories now, so post.category. And you can keep the publish date. For now, we can keep it like this, but we're gonna actually be using post.created date here. Or we could just put post.user.name. All right, so yeah, we are getting some errors here. So let's head over to our page now. So that way we can send over the props. I'm going to open it up here. App. All right. So we got a hero, top post. We're going to import Prisma. Coming from our lib. Prisma DB. All right, so we got to make this a async because we're going to be using async await. All right, and let's do a const post with an s. That's going to equal await Prisma blog find many. All right, so we want to also include the user. Include our user, which is true. All right. So now we can go ahead and send this over the props that we need. So post equal post like that. And we're going to copy that. Paste it here because we're going to send it over to our latest post. I'm also going to paste it there because we're going to send it over to both of those as well. All right, so inside of our hero, now we're getting some errors here. It's because we got a default. We're getting. Okay, it took away the. It's scary. I'm like, hold on, wait, what just happened? It took away the hero section. All right. So let's go ahead and do our little TypeScript stuff. We're gonna do React.fc. Do brackets, and we're gonna do post with an s. And that's going to equal post types. So you will get an error here because we're filtering out through the post, so it's an array. So make sure you put an array there. All right, as you can see, we're going to get an error here. We can just do as any there. I can actually do that for these two as well because we're going to get them here once we define them. All right, the hero. Okay. Let's see. All right, so now what we can do is I'm just going to do one on camera, and then one while I'm recording. Then we're going to do, I'm just going to you guys can pause the video and then just do them. So we want to render our home page to get it looking the way that it was just looking. So what we're going to do now is actually create all of those posts right quick. So let's head over to create posts. All right. And then under, where is it? Constants, blog data. We're actually going to just basically just copy this inside of our create post. So for the title, I'm just going to copy this and paste it for the title. You can just copy this lorem if you want. Copy that, paste it in here. I might paste it a few times. All right, and then a tag, I'm just going to choose what tag that I put here, adventure. It don't got it, it doesn't matter. And then for the image, I'm actually going to open up for the desktop, YouTube tutorial projects, Explore X, assets, and it should be post 1 right there. I'll drag that in there, and then I'm going to click on create. Okay, but once it creates, as you can see, everything, let's head over to my post, and it's right there. So to get it featured, you just go in your database, let's refresh, and we got our blog there. Let me scroll down some, make sure you guys can see this. Why is it like this? Hold on, I can't make this bigger. Let's see. I don't think I can. Zoom out. So as you can see, it says featured and top posts. It's really self-explanatory. You just click on it. So right now it's false. We're gonna change it to true and then click update. So now that's our updated one. And if we go back to home, we got our post there. Nice. For our image, as you can see, our image is empty there. Let's head back over to our hero. And right here, I believe, is where we got this little placement. This little placeholder image I made. We're actually gonna switch this up. So we're gonna do brackets. We're gonna do post.user.image. We're gonna do and. All right, and that's where we're gonna render out the Next.js image tag. And the source is going to be post.user.image. Height is going to be 50. The width is going to be 50. The alt, I don't know why that didn't autocomplete. Alt, it's going to be brackets, backticks, new image of $ brackets, post.user.name, and then the class name is going to be rounded full, and we also have a drop shadow of LG. Take a look, and let's see if that updates to the letter A. All right, it does. Nice. That doesn't even look right there, I'm not gonna lie. But I probably should have made it another user with the image. But for now, we're good. All right, so that's that. And now we're gonna have, so we got our post, the author name, but we want our post.user.name there. Okay. And then for publish date, I just want to see if this works. And post.createdAt. Let's see if that works. So we are going to get an error here because we didn't do our format date yet. So for now, we could just do we could just comment this out. That way I can know to come back to that. All right, perfect. So we got our first one here. Once we click on it, it's going to take us to the dynamic route, but we don't have it set up yet. As you can see, it's not styled yet. We're going to fix that. All right, so what I want to do now is create the 3 bottom posts. So same thing, we're going to head over to blog data, and you're just going to go to the second one and copy the title, copy some lorem. It's going to be post 2 image, and then you're going to do post 3 and then post 4 as well, and then come back. All right, so once you create the next 3 posts, I'm going to head over to your database, and I'm going to refresh. And you just want to, like I said, you just want to change each one to featured to be true. Let me just make sure they're all here. So let's go and change this to true. Update. And then the next one, feature is going to be true. Update. This one is going to be true. And then update. All right, so let's go take a look. Home. And perfect. We got our home page looking kind of like what we had. We need to fix like the time and the date and stuff like that. But for now, we're gonna leave it like this. Perfect. All right, so we still got to do our latest posts and our top posts. So let's go ahead and do that now. So under latest post, let's see, we'll open it up here, component, shared, latest posts. All right, so here we're going to import, we can get rid of blog data. All right, and you're probably wondering, like, we didn't put any inside of our Prisma schema. We didn't put latest posts. So we're actually going to use the sort method. This is actually my first time using the sort method, and I mean, I learned about it, but I never actually use it in any of my projects. And we're going to sort it by the date, and whenever we a new blog is created by any user, it'll just get updated into latest posts. And it's a really good component here, I'm not gonna lie. Good import button. We got our blog card. We got to use state. We're also gonna import post types. All right, let's go ahead and fix these TypeScript errors before they happen. React.fc, and then we're gonna do post with an S and equal post types. It's going to be an array. It's going to accept our props. It's going to be post with an S. All right, so instead of blog data, we can actually get rid of this because we're not going to do, like I said, we're doing a sort method now. So we're going to do const latest post. That's going to equal to post sort, make some space, A, comma, B. Then that's going to return new date B dot created at, and we got to make sure we put get time here like that, and then that's going to be minus. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy this, paste it down here, and just change this to A like that. All right, so we're gonna keep visible blogs, set visible blogs. We can keep our show more blogs there. Everything stays the same, to be honest. The only thing we change up is wait, did I spell latest post right? Latest post. Oh, this doesn't have a, okay. Make sure we switch that, and then here latest post like that. And I think once we save, everything should still be the same. Let's make sure. All right, so it's, yep, perfect. It's showing our latest post. It's not showing our image though. I wonder, okay, there it goes. It just took some time to load. All right, nice. So it's showing the latest post that was created. Nice. All right, So that's latest post, and now it's going to do top post. So this is going to take some kind of the same thing what we did for our, sorry about that. It's going to be the same thing that we did for our hero section here. So let's head over to top post. All right. And let's see if this is going to work. So we got image, so we can get rid of blog data. We got image, we got link, we got tag, we got our overlay. We're also going to import post types in this as well. All right. Going to do the TypeScript error. React.fc. Post equals post types. All right, that's going to be an array as well. It's going to accept our props. It's going to be post. All right, and so this is going to be post with an S. You change blog to post. All right, so this is kind of the same thing. Let's go ahead and change this as well, this href, because we want it to be backticks. Where are we at? Oh, blog /$ post.id. All right, so we don't want image path, just want post.img. And we don't want tags, we want post.category. Keep post.title. We can keep post.publish date. Let's see if it still works. You'll probably get an error for this. All right, so we disappeared because we don't have any posts that's top posts. So same thing, head over to your blog data. And I believe starting at 5 is where we're gonna do our top post. So I'm just gonna do it again. Right quick and do one, and then we're gonna do the rest of them off camera. So head back over to create post, and for the image, I believe this one's going to be 7 or maybe 5. And I'm going to copy this title, and we could copy over the alarm as well. Paste it a few times, and then you could choose any tag you want. I'm just going to choose culture, click on create, and then head over to your database. Bring this down some. And as you can see, top post is false. We're going to just change that to true, and then click on update. And now let's go ahead and home page. So our latest post should show the newest one, which is this one, and also our top post here as well. And we're gonna go back and fix that. We gotta put by our username as well. So yeah, let's go ahead. Just do maybe. So we did that one, which is 5. Let's do 6. Let's do 7. Let's do 8, and wait, let's just do a few. Just do like up to like 8 or something, and then yeah, come back. All right, so I got a little bit lazy, and I just copied over the database on the finished project, and you can see it says urban attires there. And everything's still the same, it's just got a little bit more post. But hopefully you guys add it. So I believe this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 top posts. You guys can add more if you want. So yeah, it's looking good. Let's head over back to our top post component. And we want this to say, let's see if this works first. First, let's create a component a folder inside of our root. It's going to be called utils. And we're going to do a format date util file. So we're going to do format date.ts. And I got this off of Stack Overflow. I'm just going to go and paste it in there. You guys can pause the video if you want and just copy this over. It's just a date format that we're going to try to use. Hopefully this works. Let me just scroll down some so you guys can see. I might zoom out right quick so you guys can see everything. Just pause the video and just type this up, or you guys can just head over to the GitHub and just copy over this file. I think that would be the easiest thing to do. So we got our format date util. So under top post, so post dot, we want post dot user dot name here. Just gonna save that, make sure that works. All right, nice. But we need this public date, and we want to try this. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna do format date from our utils, and then in here it's going to take post dot created at. Let's see if that works. Okay, nice, it works, but we don't want the time. All right, so quick update on the format date. We're actually going to just do it like this, so it's actually shorter. Hopefully you guys ain't type all of that. I'm pretty sure you guys did. I do apologize. But yeah, we're just gonna do it like this. Now with that, at the time, we shouldn't have the time. All right, perfect. So we got our date there. That's exactly what we want. I believe we also wanted a date here as well. So let's go ahead back to our hero section. And right here where we commented it out. Get rid of this, and then we're going to do format date, and that's going to be post that created at, like that. Quick look once it loads. Oh, that was that one up there. Okay, I believe we want it down here too as well, right? Post our username. But yeah, we want it here as well. So here we're gonna do format date, and then we're gonna do post dot created at. All right, perfect. This is looking good. Nice. All right, so now we have to do our actual post page. If you click on it, you see we get an error because we changed up a bunch of stuff. So here under post, maybe we should do our post page first, because I believe we gotta fetch the data in this as well. Let me go ahead and open that up. Post. All right. So yeah, we're gonna have to fetch the data in here as well. So we're gonna do import Prisma. That's going to be from our lib /lib/Prisma DB. And now we got to make this an async function. And same thing, I'm just going to copy this. Same thing we did in the other component. We're going to do a const post, and that's going to equal await Prisma blog find mini, and we're going to include the user. The styling stays the same, but we're just going to send over our post to these components. Post, and you can do as any. Copy that, and top post should be good. All right, so now let's head over to the post component, and this one changed a lot because we add a filter in this one. So Yeah, this one's a bunch. Bunch of changes in this one. All right. Okay. All right, so we got our use client. We can get rid of blog data now because we're not going to need it. We're going to go ahead and import post types. And do react.fc brackets post. That's going to equal post types. It's going to be an array. Let's go ahead and accept our prop. It's going to be post. Right. So we're going to need to set some state. So we got visible blogs, set visible blogs. We're going to keep that the same. But we're going to do a const selected category. And also a set selected category. And that's going to just equal use state. And the default value is going to be all, like that. All right, we're going to keep our show more blogs function, but we're going to add another function, and it's going to be filter post by category function. All right, I'm going to go arrow function, and now we're going to do if our selected category is equal to all. All we want to do is return our post slice 0/visible blogs. All right, and then else we're going to return post filter, some space there, and do post, and then we're going to return our post.category is equal to our selected category. All right, but we're not done there. We're going to do a dot slice 0, visible blogs. All right, cool. So now we actually need our category, so we're going to just make an array. So right underneath this function, just make an array of all the categories that you want. I chose those 5 there. Let's see the error we're getting. Let's make sure blog data is not where are we? Okay, that's because we gotta switch this up. We gotta change this to filter post. Yep. All right. We are getting another error. We're gonna get a few errors. We probably just gotta go down the list here. All right. So now we're gonna have a handle category change. A handle category change, and it's going to take in a category. Make sure you put that in parentheses, and it's going to be a string. And here we're going to set our selected category to category, and then our set visible blogs to 5. All right, cool. So moving down the list, we actually want to map through our categories here. So let's go ahead and do that. So right underneath this div, underneath the H2, we're going to have another div, and this is going to have a class name of flex, justify center, a space x of 4, and then a flex wrap. All right. And here we're going to do categories. That map. Take in a category. I feel like I'm spelling this wrong. Category, and then we're going to return some JSX. We're going to return a button. We're actually not going to use our button component in this situation. We want these buttons to look a little bit different, and the key is going to be category. On click is going to return our handle category change and category, like that. All right, and have a class name, and we're using we could use CLSX. Let's go ahead and import that. All right, so right under here, instead of quotes, we're going to do brackets CLSX. All right, so first thing we're going to do, if our select a category is triple equal to category, we want let's see, hold on. All right, we want the BG to be T, and then 6/60. We want the text to be white. All right, and then else we want the BG to be T, and then the text to be white. It's just so confusing, so many changes. All right, and all right, so that's that. And then we also gonna have a comma, and then the default styling is just gonna have a px of 4, px of 4, a py of 4, I mean a py of 2, rounded, a hover, bg of t/50, and then a margin bottom of 10. All right, we gotta figure out this error because I want to see these changes. We gotta see what's up with this right quick. All right, so we got filter post by category. Okay, I see why, because it's a function like that. So let's see if this works now. See if we can see it. All right, so we're getting another one because blog data. So this here has to be post with an S. Or we could probably do filter by. All right, so we got all our posts there, which is good. We got our quotes there. I wonder why we can't see. Oh, okay, that's why. Because inside of this button, we need to render it out. So we're gonna do brackets category is triple equal to all. And we're just gonna do all category like that. Let's see if it works now. Perfect. All right, so let's see if this filter actually works. So if we click on culture, we got all the ones that say culture. If we click on Wanderlust, we got all the ones that say Wanderlust. Click on adventure, we got all the ones that say adventure. Perfect. So this is working the way that we want it to work. Nice. All right. All right, and I believe that is it for this page. Now we need to do our dynamic routes. This should be pretty easy. So we're going to head over to, we got to make an API route first. So inside of API, not inside of the auth, we're going to create a route So make sure you click on API, and we're going to create a folder in here. Kind of confusing when it's like that. All right, and this is going to be brackets post, like that. And then we're gonna have another folder in here, and this is going to be brackets ID, like that. And then inside here is going to be our route.ts. All right. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and import Prisma. It's going to be from @/lib/Prisma. And then we're also going to import next response as well. All right. So first thing, it's going to do some TypeScript stuff. Interface params equal to ID. ID is going to be string, like that. All right. Then we're going to do an export cons get. That's going to be async. And then we're going to do a request, which is going to be our next next response. And do a comma. Oh, I think, hold on, wait, I meant next request, not next response, sorry. Next request. And then we also want to take in our params, which are going to be params and then more params. All right. And that's going to return some stuff. So we're going to do a const ID, and that's going to equal params. All right. And we're getting an error here for some reason. Maybe. Oh, I forgot the S here. That's why. All right. All right, so we're going to do a try catch. So we're going to try const post. It's going to equal await Prisma .blog .find unique. And we got to tell it where, which is going to be ID. Make sure you put a comma here. And then it's going to include our user. True. Perfect. And after this, we're just going to return new next response JSON.stringify new post comma null comma 2 and do another comma, and then we're gonna do a status 200. Status 200. All right. Forgot the W here. All right, perfect. And we can also console log the error. I'm actually just gonna copy over this this catch block. All right, because it's not that much. So right after this bracket, we have a catch right here. And make sure we close it like that. All right, perfect. So that is our API route. All right, so let's head over to one of our post page. I'm gonna go under post and then click on one, and this is the page we're going to be fixing up now. So first thing we're going to do, we're actually going to get rid of this interface prop for search params, and we're just going to name this params All right, and we're gonna do a few more ports. We're gonna import post types. All right. And now we need to do our get data function, and it's going to be outside of this our page component. So right on top of it, we're going to do a const get data. It's going to be async. I'm going to take an ID, which is going to be a string, and we're going to return a response. We're going to do const res, and that's going to equal await fetch, and we're going to fetch our URL, our API. So it's going to be /API /post $ brackets and then ID. All right, and I believe we could also put localhost HTTP localhost 3000 here. So like that. Let's just do it like that. All right. And now after this, we're gonna do a cache, and we're gonna do no store. All right, and after that one, we're gonna do some error handling. So we're gonna do if our res.ok, it was not okay, we're gonna throw a new error, and it's just gonna say failed. All right, and now last but not least, we just want to return the response. So we're gonna do res.json. All right, perfect. All right, so down here, let's go ahead and define a type for our params first. So we're gonna do brackets params is equal to our post types. Wait, why didn't that work? Okay, params. I don't know why it's not auto completing. Post types. Okay, let's see what the issue here is. Matter of fact, what I'm gonna, oh my god, are you kidding me? Look, I got search params here. Let's take that one off, and we're gonna remove this one. That. Let's see. All right, let's fix this up. This is really bothering me. All right, so we're gonna, in here we're gonna have params. All right, and then we're gonna define our params types. So we're gonna do params, and that's going to equal post types. There we go. Sheesh. All right, and now we're gonna remove this one. I'm gonna do a const ID, and that's going to equal params. And last but not least, we also got to make this an async function, because we're gonna get our data from that function we just made at the top. We're gonna do async, and now we're gonna do a const data, and that's going to equal await get data and ID. Perfect. So hopefully this works. Now we just have to just change up some of this stuff and see if this works. So for the source, is actually going to be data.img. For the tag, I mean, what we can do is just so we won't get confused here, we can actually just change this to post like that. So that way we could just go ahead and just change up some of this stuff. So post.img, I'm gonna have post.category. Save that, So we got post.description. So post.dc, or did we do description? Save that. Let's see what else is happening. Okay, so we're getting an error at the top here. So let's see what's going on up here. So we got our const data, async, ID string, and we're doing const res, await fetch. Maybe add a comma there. Catch no store. Yeah, this looks correct. I don't know why it isn't working. Oh, there it goes. It's loaded now. Let's give it a second. Perfect. So we got our image there, which is nice. We got our title, we got our tag. We don't see our paragraph. Let's go ahead and fix that. And I believe it's because we did post dot dec like that. Let's see if that shows it up now. There it goes. All right. And now we need our author image. So we're going to do post.user.image. Save that. We got our image there. So that was made by another user. And now we need our author name. We're going to do post.user.name. And then we need our format date here. So let's go ahead and just get rid of this. And don't do format date. Format date function. And it's going to take in our post.created at. All right. Oh, okay. We gotta. Oh, I forgot the D. Nice. Perfect. All right. So we're actually almost complete with the entire project. There are a few other miscellaneous things that I want to tackle before we end off this video. But overall, the functionality for this website is completed. We have authentication, so we can go ahead and sign out. All right, and now we got the options to log back in and sign up. And we also got the ability to create a post. It'll create posts. Oh, this shows all of our posts, which we can also filter through each one. And then we can click on create posts. Once we're signed in, we can delete and delete our posts, and we can also view other people's posts and everything. We got latest and top posts. I think everything is good, but there are a few changes that we want to make. So if you head over to user post, as you can see, we're not even signed in, and we can see 11 posts, and it just says hello. So we don't want to see this screen unless we're signed in. So that's an easy fix. We're just going to copy over this whole entire div, and we're going to do brackets, and we're just going to do, if you're we're going to do a ternary operator. So if you're not a user, we just want it to say, have a h1 that says sign in to view your post. All right, and now else, that's when we're going to show this all of that content in there. I'm going to put a closing parenthesis down there. Let's see. Oh, we got to put the question mark there. All right, I'm going to save it, and hopefully this disappears because we're not signed in. Perfect. I'm going to have a class name on this that says height screen. Let's see what that does. Okay, actually what we can do is just do a height screen on the outer div, and then do flex, justify center, and then item center. And then for the h1 we can do like a text 3XL, a font extra bold, and that should be good, should be nice and center. Text 3XL. All right, perfect. So sign in to view your post. Perfect. Believe that's it for that. And then once we sign in, we should be able to see our posts. Let's go ahead and sign in, log in, and now head over to my post, and we don't have anything published, so that's why that's empty. So let's actually create one now, right quick, a little test one, make sure everything's still working. Gonna do like a dog and it's gonna be test Wanderlust create. Head over to my post, and perfect, it is there. Takes some time for the image to load. Perfect. And we can go ahead and delete this. Actually, what I want to do first, let me just see something. I want to create another post and make sure everything is lined up correctly. Test, just put anything. All right, and then head over to my post. Okay, perfect. Nice. And we could just delete these because we don't want them here. All right, so we got that. And last but not least, we're gonna work on our side menu, because we didn't do anything to this. So we're currently signed in, and we can still see these login buttons, so we don't want to see those. So let's go ahead over to our mobile menu, and let's fix this up. So one thing we're going to add is we're going to import user from Prisma client, and then we also going to import sign out from NextAuth React. All right, and everything's going to stay the same. All of this stuff's going to stay the same. The only difference is down here. Where are we at? So underneath our UL, which is here, so these buttons we just want to render out conditionally. So I'm just going to go ahead and just highlight them, do brackets, and we only want these to show when you're not a user. So we're going to do if you're not a user, and do the and make sure you wrap these up in parentheses. And if we save, they should disappear because we're currently signed in. Oh, we're getting a error here. Wait. Are we okay? I know the issue. So we actually got to send over the props to this to our mobile menu. So down here, we're gonna send it over under user equals user, like that. And then now in our mobile menu, let's go ahead and get these props. User. Now let's see, so it disappears, which is good because we're signed in. And now we're just going to render out our user menu here. All right, and I'm just gonna copy this because it's the same exact thing as the one we have in our nav. So just so if we're signed in, we're just gonna render out a div, no class name on it, and it's gonna have a UL with flex call, gap of 5, item center, and our 3 links. So we got our create a post, my posts, and we also got sign out. Self-explanatory. All right, so we have to actually fix this up a bit. As you can see, our menu's all the way down there. And I'm thinking that's because we have flex 1 here on our UL. So let's go ahead and remove that. Let's see. All right, perfect. We can also change the padding, top and bottom. Maybe make it like 10. All right, I think that looks way better. For the gap, we can also make it a little bit smaller. Well, all right, I think that looks better. And our logo, for some reason, isn't centered. So let's go ahead and try to center that. Let's head over to our logo, which is, where are you, logo? Right here. So it's this div. I'm just going to probably just do a text center on our outer div, and let's see if that fixes it. Nice. All right, so our mobile menu is done. Let's go ahead and click on my post. See if it takes us there. Oh. All right, as you can see, once we actually got to add some on clicks to these as well. Let's add an on click to our link. On click. What we want to do is this: we're going to set our open mobile menu to false once we click on it. I'm going to copy this on click. I'm going to paste it on this link down here. All right, so that is complete. And I believe we are done, to be honest. I can't think of anything else. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Let's just do a quick check. So we got our home page, which everything is fetched from our database. Our top posts, our latest posts. Our latest post, it shows the newest post that's created from any user, which is good. And then if you click on a post, it takes us to the dynamic route for that post. It shows the blog, the title, the tag, the user image, the username, and the date it was created. If we go into posts, we can sort through these posts and then click on one if we want. Got our about and contact page, and then we can also create a post, which works perfectly. And then if we head over to my posts, it shows we got the posts. We can delete our posts here and also click on them and read them ourselves. So to be honest, I think we are done. As you can see, we do have some errors though, so let's fix these errors right quick and then we're gonna be done. User, we just gotta let's do our user props. So and do react .fc and we're gonna do mobile menu props, right? And keep it like that because we're gonna create this interface now. Interface mobile menu props, and then user is user. All right, so that got rid of that error. But we also have an error inside blog, and let's see what error this is. Oh, we forgot to do the params. Params does not have type. Oh, we got to put an S here. That's it. And that should get rid of that. And we are error free. Actually, we're not. So if you head over to the console, it's always something. I just got a feeling I'm gonna miss something. We getting this NextAuth secret. Ignore all of this debug stuff. There was some stuff that I had to do to. It was really hard trying to get this project to work the way I wanted it to work. If you want to get rid of the debug stuff, you can just head over to Next API route, and if you want, you can remove this debug. All right, but keep the secret because we're actually going to fix that here in a second. All you got to do is copy this NextAuth secret and then head over to .env here, and we're just going to do NextAuth secret. And to be honest, you could just write anything in there, right? And that should get rid of that NextAuth secret error. As you can see, it's looking clearer now. And we're getting an error for a key prop, so there must be somewhere where we mapped through something and we forgot to put the key. Let's see. So we got the key there under our post. We got key there under our navbar. Wait, does it show where? Let's see. Each post. At article. So articles. So I'm guessing it's probably in blog cart, maybe. Remapping through here. No. What about latest post? We got our key there. Here, okay, here we go. Right here, we don't got a key in our hero section. So let's remove the index, and for our article, we can just do key. It'll just be our post.id. I'm gonna copy that, and I believe we got to do it up here as well. Oh, we got the key index here, but we're gonna do post.id for our key. All right, so last thing we're actually gonna do is make sure we fix these as any. It's really bad to use any in TypeScript, and I just put this here just to get rid of the errors at that point. But I'm glad that I remembered to come back and fix these before I uploaded this video. So as you can see, it says as any. We're gonna just remove these, and it should error back out. So remove all of these, and I believe we also did it on our post page as well. So we already removed them on here. All right, so make sure you remove the as any. And to fix these, what we're going to do is actually switch up our post types, because I used these same post type for another project, and I ended up copying the wrong one. So we're looking for ID. We're looking for after that, we're also looking for created at. So created at, and that's going to be a string or a date, like that. We're getting a title. We're getting the image, which also can be null. Actually, let's see what happens if we don't put null. So description, featured, it's going to be a boolean. Top post is going to be a boolean. Category. So we're not looking for author image or author name. We don't need that. Publish date. We don't need that either. And we already had created that, but we can just remove that one. All right. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's see if the errors went away. Okay, so they didn't go away yet. And let's see what the issue is. Created at. Oh, okay. So head back over there. I must have made a typo. Created at, like that. Let's save that now. And now let's see what the issue is. Okay, so the image, so I think we do have to put null there. So in the post types, that's just for the image, we're gonna put string or null, like that. And now let's see if they went away. So good, they went away once we did that. But if you click on a component, it's going to show that we have some errors now. And that's because now that we defined the type as string or null, we actually got to type our image out differently. So, and also our created date now is a string, so we got to make it a string. All right, so for the formatted date, now we have to do .toString, like that, and that should get rid of that error. And then for the image now, we have to, for all the ones that we do post.image, it's only going to be a sub of them. We're going to go through them. Now we have to do it like this. I'm going to copy this from over here and paste that in there. So we got to do post.image and then that's when we're going to render our image. So only if post image is true, then we can render it out. All right, let's head over to post. We don't have any errors in here. Navbar, we don't have any errors in here. Mobile menu, no errors. Latest post, no errors. Hero, we got errors here. And same thing, we just have to render out post.image. So I'm gonna paste that. Let me go back. This was a little bit different, so I'll do that, and then we're gonna do post.image, and then and I'm gonna close it like this for that image. And I'm going to copy this, and then same for the date here. We're gonna do .toString. And Let's see, we got 2 more errors. See where they're at. It's probably the date. Oh, another image down here. So same thing. Do post.image, render out the image, and we also got to do .toString here as well. All right. So that fixes those errors. We don't have any errors inside of our footer. Delete post, no errors, and create user. Blog card, we might have one. Yep. And that is for the image here as well. So I'm gonna copy it, do brackets, and do post.image and make sure you put parentheses. All right. And now I believe we are done. We don't have no more errors for posts, and we don't got to put that as any. So yeah, that's really it. Thank you guys for watching. Let's make sure the site is actually good again. All right, the site is looking good. Everything works perfect. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.